Hiya.
Wow. Thank you so much, filmmakers, for being here with us. That was a brilliant block of films, diverse, entertaining. I really, really loved it. For those of you who are in the room, we will be introducing our filmmakers and getting to our Q&A shortly. Before we do that, we would like to play a short message from one of our filmmakers who wasn't able to attend this evening.
Bonsoir de la France. Hello, lovely Topaz Film Festival. I wish I could be with you, but I'm in France. And since I was a French major at university and spent a year here, I love France. And we haven't been for 4 years. We all know why. Anyway, I wanted to just say hello. I don't know if any of you attending the festival will see this, but I wanted to send this to say a quick hello because I love this festival. I believe this is my third time, always virtually. One of these days it'll be in person. At any rate, I will mention that I am the writer, director of the short film, The Dinner Guest. And usually at other festivals, I'm asked the question of what inspired the story. Some people wonder if it happened to me. Well, I can assure you it did not. There was a story floating around our family about a rather distant aunt who had, in fact, invited her husband's mistress to dinner. So my writer brain went to work, and I thought, why would she do that? And the result of that was The Dinner Guest. So enjoy the festival. Anyone who might be watching this, please enjoy. I miss you. And I hope there might be another time where I can attend more fully. Thank you and au revoir.
Thank you so much for that message. With that being said, I would like to turn the microphone over to, we have several filmmakers with us, very lucky this evening. If you'd like to just unmute yourselves and take a moment to introduce yourself and let us know which film you worked on.
Hi, I'm Tiggy, and I'm the writer and director in TILDYPOPS.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Bastidas. I'm the writer-director of Missguidance.
Thank you.
Hey, I can go next. I'm Marissa Gavami, and I'm the co-writer and lead producer on Silk.
Thank you.
And then I think I can go next. I'm Shikon Zhu, and I'm the director on the closing night. And next to me is our composer, Jasmine. I'll let her also introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Jasmine. I'm the composer of The Closing Night.
Welcome. I believe we have more. Sarah, I wasn't able to hear you. No. Were any of you able to hear Sarah? No. Do you want to try one more time, Sarah?
Sarah, sometimes this happens if you've given permission to the site to allow your microphone, then sometimes you have to log out and log back in. So whenever you log back in, just click the Q&A room and it'll bring you right back, okay? That should fix it. We'll try. Okay. Wait just one moment and we'll see if that works for her. Okay, Kenna, why don't you... Yep, there she is.
There she is.
Does it work now? Can you say something, Sarah?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yay.
Yes, okay, cool. So I'm the producer of Cold Call.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Well, thank you all for being here and taking your time out of the day. And I'm so glad you got the chance to see each other's work and to have your own work screened. That's a wonderful opportunity. We will be having, yes, I love that, Cynthia. We will be having some questions coming up from our viewers in just a moment. While I'm getting their questions ready, is there one special moment anyone wants to share, their favorite moment during the shooting of their film, something that just really stuck out as very special to you in your own experience as a filmmaker? Go ahead, Marissa.
Sure. So it was a 4-day shoot, and it was pretty audacious given the aerial silks. So we were really just, as stressed to the max as you could be. But there was a moment when I was in the balcony of the theater that we shot the aerial scenes in, sandwiched between my mom, who had flown in town and she was an extra on set, and my partner, who was just doing anything we needed. And I was watching the monitor below me, and I was watching the director watch the monitor, and Krista was up on the silk, and everything just looked like a dream. It just looked so beautiful. And I was kind of hiding in the balcony, so nobody was bothering me. Nobody was asking me a million questions. And I just sort of got to watch and just really enjoy what we had put together. And that really stands out because I was present and I was grateful. And it was just a little moment of peace for a producer that I really cherish. And I got to share it with my loved ones.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Marissa. Is there a special moment anyone else would like to share?
Sure, I can go next. So during the filming of Closing Night, it's actually the first time that I directed something that's not my own original text. And our actress slash producer slash writer, Ella, she was the one starring and like basically playing out her own real life story. So during one of the most challenging scene where she breaks down crying, I kind of had to like verbally bully her into crying. That's kind of our agreement, like before the scene, to get her into where she needs to be. At the beginning of the scene, she like basically breaks into her bedroom and crying and in her bed. And yeah, basically I feel like that's the moment we commiserated like our shared experience as like an immigrant, like someone who doesn't speak English as a first language in the US. And I basically said all the things that would upset me to her and try to put her into that kind of scenario. And she actually broke down into tears, like genuine tears. And that's the first time I felt like how much my words are powerful into, making another person cry. But that was also like the magic of filmmaking. Like it's only like in filmmaking that you are in that kind of scenario. And when I literally see myself saying those words and her tears starts to flow and I signal the camera to like start recording. That's one of the very, I wouldn't say wonderful, but very interesting and significant moment for us in that film, The Closing Night. Yeah.
Wow.
I have a kind of a interesting, like bittersweet kind of story like that as well. I'm a first-time filmmaker, and so my DP and my assistant director, like I got to know them through pre-production, but I had never been in production, right? So when we were loading up the truck and heading, we had to drive like 3 hours to get to our location to shoot. There was a cat that had been run over by a car. And it wasn't gross or anything like that. It was hit. It wasn't run over. It was hit. But it passed. And I decided I was going to take it to a vet so it could be, disposed of properly or cared for properly now that it's in transition. And my team, my DP and my assistant director were like right on the same page with me. It was not like the schedule, this, that, the other. They were right on the same page with me, and so we shared this kind of like weird experience of death together. And it was just really great to know that the team that I had selected, that I had been working with, really did share the same values as I had. So then I knew that going into whatever was going to happen for I think it was a 4-day shoot as well, that it would be a good experience because we were all in the same place, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all that.
It's very profound. Well, let me ask this. I would like to know the background. I know, Shikong, you already mentioned that yours was based partially off of your own experiences. So where did the ideas for the rest of the films come from? What was your inspiration? Yes, Sarah. Oh, Sarah, we can't hear you again. So sorry. Okay, we'll let her jump back in when she gets back in. Give her just a moment. Does anyone else want to share while we're waiting for Sarah to get back in the room? Oh, there she is. Okay. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, can you hear me? I keep muting myself, so maybe that's what kicks me out. Can you hear me though?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So Cold Call was actually based on a true story as well that happened to the director and the director's father. So when it says story by Christopher Cronin, he was the man who received the phone call while he was driving one day, and yeah, and the whole thing was, it was like 6 minutes of terror, and so we decided to turn it into a little short film.
How terrifying. I do believe that when you have a broken heart or a traumatic experience, it's best to turn it into art. And I noticed a lot of similar themes in a lot of the films in that way, taking our own pain and our own struggles and turning them into something that others can share with us. Thank you for that, Sarah. Did anyone else want to share where the idea for their story came from?
Yeah, mine is semi-autobiographical. So I've drawn a lot on my own life. It started as like a one-woman show for theatres, and that's why there's lots of voiceover, which kind of describes the inner workings of her mind. And then during lockdown, we just kind of made it into a film. But yeah, pretty much my own experiences.
I think that's why you came through so well as an actor too, because it was your story. Brilliant. Would anyone else like to share on that note where your idea came from? Yes, Marissa.
Yeah, so it was originally born because I was doing talkbacks at colleges on red flags of abuse and trauma, and we were doing pre and post screenings. And the thing that specifically young folks didn't know and learned the most about was gaslighting at like every single workshop. It was number one on the list. And I just thought that was really profound, because if somebody can gaslight you effectively, then the rest of these abusive tactics can happen much easier, because they've made you question your own sense of reality. And we would have these really long lines after a 2-hour workshop with folks asking me like specifics, what does it look like when somebody does this? Well, if my partner does that count? And the questions really by nature, I just realized that, a PowerPoint and a speaking engagement weren't enough. They needed some sort of, visual tool, and just being an artist by trade, that was what my mind went to. And so I thought about the movie Gaslight as a way to explain gaslighting, but it's not as relevant to today's audience because we don't have gas lamps anymore. So I thought, what's a way to sort of modernize that? And I was acting the play at the time with Krista, our lead actress, and she had just been Zendaya's body double in Greatest Showman. She had done all of her aerial work, and I was watching some of her work, and I was just like, she's a world-class aerialist. You know, she's like Beyonce's aerialist. She's choreographing for Cirque. Like, she's just doing these huge things. And I was like, God, I wish I could put her in a film. And then I realized, wait a minute, what if we did like kind of a modern, a little nod, a little wink to the old movie Gaslight? And instead of having it be gas lamps that the perpetrator is messing with, what if it's an aerialist and her lighting designer, and he's messing with the lighting in a routine? So I talked to my co-writer David about it. I was interviewing writers at the time, and I spoke to him about it, and he encouraged my wild idea. So that's what happened.
Wow. I was actually just wondering where you found the talent who could do the silks.
Yeah, so I'm really an actor mostly. So I was in a play at the time, like I said, with Krista. She just happened to be an aerialist. I mean, it wasn't a play. The play we were doing didn't need those skills from her. And then I had done a movie, Not Fade Away, directed by David Chase, who did The Sopranos. I had done that film years ago with John Magaro. He was the lead in it, and he went on to do Carol and The Big Short and The Umbrella Academy. And so he came on as our director. And once he came on, we were able to get some name talent for our other actors. So Frank Krantz, Luisa Kraus, Garcia. And then I went on to co-produce Mass after that because Frank Krantz liked the way I ran Silk. So that was pretty life-changing. So that was great.
Excellent. And, you know, several of you had actors in your films who needed special skills, especially being fluent in another language. So I'm curious what your process was in finding the right talent for your films. Yes, Cynthia.
First, I want to address Marissa. You know, the film really reminded me of, I think you're based in New York. And anyway, for those who are not in New York, there's a story right now. We have a very well-known, beloved theater actor. Her name is Portia, who was actually having a situation with a theater company where the lighting designer wanted to use fog, and she expressed to the theater company that that she can't do that because she is an asthmatic and she has a very severe case of it. Anyway, she was gaslighted. This has happened like a month ago, and it's in the press right now. And she had a very severe asthma attack that almost killed her. Right as she got off stage. So when I watched Silk, that I know it's not exactly related, but it is related because the protagonist in your film is a Black woman. Portia is a Black actor as well. So anyway, just wanted to say kudos.
I really appreciate that. And I think that was a layer that we wanted to add too, was race. I mean, that was very consciously cast with a white perpetrator and a Black actor in the lead because that is often happening. And I'm Iranian American. And so it was really important to me to cast with a lot of diversity. We have a trans Hispanic actor in a supporting role. And then 75% of our crew was BIPOC and or queer and female. So we wanted to have, these stories that mostly impact marginalized communities, stories on abuse. Not that it doesn't happen everywhere, but certainly mostly to marginalized communities. We wanted to reflect that. And I don't know that story, Cynthia, so thank you for sharing that. And I think that also brings up when this happens in our industry, which is often. And so I really appreciate you sharing that.
And I guess in terms of casting, my film was Misguidance, and it was in Spanish. I wrote it in Spanish. I'm a Mexican woman, but the woman from Honduras she speaks a different kind of Spanish than what I speak. So it was really important that what really annoys me on film and television is when I love that there is a lot more Latina representation, but when we are speaking Spanish, we're not always speaking the appropriate Spanish that the character would be speaking, and that's really annoying because I think you all can understand. So it was really important to me that I found an actor who was from Central America, who was fluent and in New York. we don't have a lot of Central American actors. Like there are more Caribbean, there are Mexican, but not like in LA, you know, like, but we found her and she was amazing. And that was Alexandra Lemus. In case anybody wants to know, she's a wonderful person and actor, as you saw.
Definitely. Sarah, did you have any special trait that you were looking for when you chose your talent?
Well, yeah, definitely. We needed somebody who embodied that sort of, master of the universe type thing. And Michael was such an amazing choice because he's such an old salt. He's been around forever. And conveniently, he was the writer, Chris, the father. They were old drinking buddies back in the day. So that helped a lot for asking him to come in. And um, he just got it. And he has daughters, and he read the script, and he's like, nope, I got it. I'm there. And very easy to direct. And he and Catherine were great. So he's a consummate professional. It was really great to work with him.
Nice. So, earlier someone mentioned being a first-time filmmaker. Who else is a first-time filmmaker here? Is there more than one?
So Silk was my first time. I mean, I've since made more films, but that was my first. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Very well done. Very well done. Well, that means most likely you are already working on new projects, right? Is there anything anyone would like to tell us about to get us excited for what's coming up for you?
Yeah, TILDYPOPS is being made into a feature film, which is very exciting.
Yay!
By Lena Verma. So yeah, very excited for that.
And you'll still be starring in the main role, right?
Yes, although I'm not getting any younger. I should be.
Wow, that's really amazing news. Congratulations on that. Does anyone else have additional projects they're working on, or maybe some updates to what they plan on doing with this film after we leave Topaz?
Sure, I can share. So Silk is actually, we got into an Academy Award qualifying festival, which is really exciting.
Oh.
So we have that screening at Real Sisters of the Diaspora, November 5th and 6th. And then the film that I produced right after Silk, that Frank Krantz, our perpetrator in Silk, who played Saul, that he wrote and directed, Mass. We got the Robert Altman Award. We got a BAFTA nomination for Ann Dowd, which was really exciting. And we got more Best Ensemble nominations than any other film in 2021. And then Variety named us the #2 film that should have gotten an Oscar and didn't get a nomination. So that was really exciting. And then I have something in post-production right now starring Arjun Gupta. And it was the first time that I acted and produced. So I've mainly acted my whole life. And then I just produced a few things and didn't act. And it was the first time doing both. So that was challenging, and I just saw a rough cut of that, and that was really exciting. So that's happening, and I'm in development on a new project, and that is on EMDR, which is a type of trauma therapy. So lots of things happening at once.
Yes, how exciting for you. Congratulations. Jasmine, are you working on anything new? And that's whether or not it's in film?
Yes, actually several. So composers, we do get several shorts sometime all at once. And that's like what I've been doing. I also teach and I also write concerts, music. I work on commissions. So there are several projects that I'm working on that are very exciting.
Oh, lovely. Was this your first time to compose for film?
No, I can't really remember which one this was, but I've done, I think, 40 shorts. So yes, composers, we compose fast. It's not like we need all that time to shoot a film or write. But it was a very, very special score, actually. So a big part of the score was created with production sound. So when we started the score, Shuko and everyone on the team just gave me so much freedom. They told me what they needed, but they also gave me all these production sound to play with. and we created the sound with all the sound C was practicing her voice with. That was really cool.
Wow.
Basically wanted a cappella of the accents.
Yes. And you know, I loved in your film, it really got my attention, the visuals of the sounds when you put them up in the air, because it just kind of, it gave another layer to it. So I really appreciated you throwing those details in. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jasmine. I'm curious if any of you, and I know, you know, we have actors, writers, composers with us, producers. Does anyone have a ritual that they use to prepare themselves to create? You know, some of us have a special notebook, or maybe somebody smokes a cigar and has a glass of wine. Does anybody have a special little ritual they have to do that prepares them for the process of creation?
No, I think for me, like, as sacred and divine as it is at times, it's also work. You know, it's that idea, Stephen Pressfield turning pro and The War of Art. I love those books where it's like I sit down every day and I do my work, whether or not I'm in the zone, whether or not I'm in the vibe, whether or not I feel like creating. And that for me has been the most impactful. So sure, sometimes, yeah, I'll light a candle. I'll have a little Himalayan pink sea salt lamp on. I'll do a little meditation. But there are also days where it's like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to be doing it, but I'm doing it because I believe in it. And so I think for me, the thing that I want to point out is not so much like the kind of beautiful rituals around it, but just this is my job, whether or not I'm getting paid for it. And some days I get paid for it and I get a fancy accolade, and some days I don't, and I still treat it just like a 9 to 5 that I'm clocking into. And I think that's really key, especially for young and aspiring filmmakers to understand that could be really useful.
I'm glad you brought that up, Marissa, because I do want to ask if anyone else has any specific advice they would give to new filmmakers. What was something very helpful to you when you started off, for example?
Yeah, I can go. I feel like I've been working mostly as a director, writer, sometimes a producer, but in my experience, the best part of making a film, especially for making a film for the first time, is the company, the friends you find along the way. And they are actually also co-creators. I mean, they are a big part of how your journey will be, especially on a first project. I feel like people are the most important facet of this journey, this exploration. So look around, find the best company you can have while making the film. And for our film, we were super surprised how many Asian women we were able to attract into our group. Yeah, our film's basically made by 95% of like all Asian women cast and crew. And that's a really, really great experience for us. A really, really great little reminder that our community is very strong. So yeah, find your own people.
Great advice. Anyone else want to chime in? I'm sorry, Cynthia. I'm getting a lot of static. Are you able to hear Cynthia okay? Okay. You have to try again with your sound. Not really. No. You want to try again? Okay, we'll get her back in just a second. Sorry about that, friends. Technical difficulties. While she is coming back in, oh, okay. Well, she's there. There you are, Cynthia. Let's try it again.
No, I was just saying, like, go ahead and be delusional. Like,
Oh,
let yourself do that. Because, I was an actor for 20 years, and I was one of those actors who was like, "I'm not gonna write or direct or, like, do all the multi-hyphenate things that people do," because I just was like, "No, I'm gonna be an actor," and then, whatever, like, my journey went another way, and
mhm.
I didn't know where to start, and I literally picked up, like, a Filmmaking for Dummies book,
Oh,
and that's what got me started. So and then, and then other things happen, but, you know, you don't need to have a film degree, you don't need to there's a lot out there, a lot of information, especially
mhm.
now, YouTube University. So, just go ahead and be delusional and just do it.
I like that. That's great advice. Uh, yes, Sarah. Sarah, we can't hear you again. I'm sorry. We'll get her back.
Hi.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I've been doing this a very, very long time, and so I was trying to um, get it down to like one thing. If I could just tell people one thing, um, it would be to be patient, to not be so in a rush, because you can have a very long career and pay your bills, whatever it takes to get your bills paid, do stuff on the weekends, write in your off time. Um, do it the easy way. You know, you don't have to be like, I'm going to quit my job and just be a full time director. And if I can't do that, then I'm not going to do anything. Like, don't do that. Get a job, get a day job, write some stuff, meet a bunch of people, join a bunch of clubs, and then get together and do stuff. And if you just keep working, you just keep working. And and you can only fail if you quit. So those are things I wish people had told me to begin with. And be flexible. That's the other thing. Be flexible. If your career sort of veers off to the left, go follow it and see where it goes.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah. Actually, Sarah, I do have a question for you from our audience. They want to know how long it took you to film and if keeping all the action in the car actually sped up the process and kept it moving quickly. Oops.
Actually, yeah, we actually did 2 days of shooting and then one day of just B-roll pickups. Um, we were the first day we were using a process trailer, which is where you put the car on a trailer and then you point a bunch of cameras at it with a truck and then you just drag it around, so Michael could just focus on his lines and not have to worry about actually driving. So that makes it really fast because then you're not having to reset a lot and you could just keep going. And then the second day we were able to completely block off another street, um, and lock it down. And so we just lined up a bunch of cars and we were able to do that really close trafficy stuff all in one sitting. And then, of course, Michael is just, he's just golden. So working with him was so easy because he was so prepared. So we did it very quickly, yes.
Nice. Okay, well, speaking of quick, Tiggy, we would like to know if you really did run a marathon in Brighton or have ran one to prepare yourself for this.
No, I was wondering if who asked that question, like if there's a Brighton in the States. Or it's just, I mean, it just seemed like was the interest in whether I run a marathon or whether I run a marathon in Brighton.
Well,
anyway,
yeah,
I suppose it doesn't really matter. No, I have never run a marathon. I ran a half marathon. I don't think you can run a marathon when you're 16, but that is the magic of storytelling. I think that is all I have to say on that.
Thank you for that. I have a question for Shikong. So you really approached and tackled and handled well the idea of being balanced between caught between two cultures. And definitely we have viewers that really appreciated that. Was that the main message that you were trying to get across with this film?
Yeah, sorry, I have like crazy construction noise right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but let me know if it's too like loud or anything. So back to the question. Yes, I would say I think when Ella first approached me with her script and her life story, basically, I and along with many other crew were like immediately attracted to her way of telling the story, how she's caught between two cultures, because this is such a common shared experience among a lot of us, but not like told enough on big screens. So I feel like we just want to really tell how it's like, um, and maybe get people to be able to like have some kind of compassion and empathy towards this kind of situation. Just kind of giving people a glimpse of how it's like if you don't speak the same language with your environment, and the kind of wall of being away from your home, being so away from your culture and your family. Yeah, and I actually, you had a really interesting question earlier about how talents of the films are picked basing on their special skills, and I'm actually that talent that's being picked by Ella, the writer and producer. She wanted a director to be able to understand her story, to share her experience, and I'm glad that she picked me. So just to add a little note to that question earlier.
Yes, well, good job, Ella, in picking your talent. It worked. I'm curious if how you all chose your locations for your films. Yes, Marissa.
So for the theater scenes, I wanted it to be like epic and gorgeous, and I was like stopping at nothing. So I had an amazing location scout. Well, she did like 5 things on the film. But when I saw Irondale, and I mean, a lot of it is asking people, asking your circle. So not being afraid to ask literally everybody you know and say, this is my vision, this is what I'm doing. And you can only do that if you believe in what you're doing, right? So if you're sort of like not super confident, wait until you're super confident. Make something that you're super confident about, that you're not afraid to ask people. Because we just asked a bunch of people. So we had a connection with Irondale, and we're a nonprofit, Healing Tree is. So we do a lot of production. We partner with big productions. We produce big productions, but we can get tax write-offs. We can give tax write-offs for locations as well as, cash donations. So that was really huge for us, saying to locations, hey, we want this for free, or we want this for really cheap. We can give you 501c3 benefits. That really, really helped us. And then other locations, asking friends, saying, this is what we want in an apartment. This is what's ideal here. This is what's ideal for a backstage scene. Getting clear on it, and then just believing that we were worthy of attracting it in a rate that would fit with our budget. And then, giving an incentive to our really kind donors and or people who are giving it to us for a lot less.
Anyone else care to chime in on that?
Go. I feel like I need to really thank University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, for our film locations, because pretty much more than half of the classroom scene, the campus scene, they're all shot on UCLA campus, and they are very generous. The school's theater and film department are very generous with us, and especially when Ella approached them, because she's a former student there. She approached them with her script, with her story, and told them, hey, this was the experience I had with you guys in the school with the white professors, and they were very, very generous and understanding. They're like, we are going to help you tell this story. We are going to provide our location. So yeah, that's how we found our location, by just asking the school where the story happened. So it's actually shot in the same classroom where her real story happened.
Yes. Wow. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciated your insights, your inspirations, and your creativity. I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did as well. If anyone would like to continue the conversation, you can head to the WIFD Cafe and continue there. Again, thank you so, so much, and congratulations again on your spectacular work. We really, really appreciate you being part of the festival.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you.